covering climate, weather, and the industrial enterprise from Penn State Meteorology. Here is Up in the Air.
Hello and welcome to this last show of the semester of Up in the Air. I'm Ryan Gold.
And I'm Joe Spear.
We've got a jam-packed show for you today with stories about black hole and Arctic ice wedges.
We also have a feature from Penn State student meteorologist Simon Wackles about snowstorms in early spring. Update in the Air starts right now. The disaster from Hurricane Harvey has sparked interest in understanding the amount of flooding that occurred. Scientists from Arizona State University took satellite data to map the areas surrounding Houston-Galveston that was flooded from the hurricane. In addition to mapping the standing water, the team also measured how the land surface had moved downward before the storm using radar. After compiling all of the satellite data, a shocking result showed that most of the flooded areas had fallen outside of the Federal Emergency Management Agency 500-year flood zones. They also found that the land surface had fallen 5 millimeters a year for 85% of the flooded land, greatly affecting the severity of the floods. The team wants these results to highlight the shortcomings of FEMA flood zones and how they need to be reevaluated. Moving forward, the team also wants to use these results as a baseline for addressing the spring 2019 flooding of the Midwestern United States and how floods will impact agriculture.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket, which successfully launched and landed with its 3 boosters last Thursday, marking another historical victory for the company and space travel. The Falcon Heavy has 27 engines and 5 million pounds of thrust, which is twice as powerful as any other rocket that exists in operation today. This could be used to return astronauts back to the moon, as well as paving the way for a new rocket, the Falcon Super, which could one day fly missions to Mars. The Thursday launch was the second for the Falcon Heavy, the first of which was a year ago, where it launched a Tesla into orbit in order to test the rocket's abilities. The Falcon Heavy launched from the same launch pad that Apollo 11 took off from 50 years ago, making Launch Pad 39A the groundbreaker for our space journey.
Ice wedges from the Arctic Ocean are helping scientists to understand the structure of ancient ice cover. A team of scientists took ice wedges from permafrost that forms in the tundras of Russia, Canada, and Alaska. Using an ice wedge collected from Barrow, Alaska that dated back to the Pleistocene period, the team analyzed ion concentrations in the ice to reconstruct Arctic ice cover. Out of the many ions that were tested in the ice wedge, the presence of methane sulfonate proved that there was once marine life activity due to a compound created by plankton and ice algae in the seasonal summer ice. The amount of methane sulfonate was highest in the coldest parts of the Pleistocene, proving that the area around the Beaufort Sea near Barrow might not have been completely covered with permanent ice. With this discovery, the team plans to continue reconstructing past ice and develop a way to project future ice formation in the Arctic.
Scientists last Wednesday revealed the first ever image of a black hole, giving evidence to research dating back to Einstein's theory of relativity. The image shows red-hot matter swirling at the speed of light around an ominous dark circle of emptiness, as the matter is sucked into what astronauts call the event horizon, also known as the point of no return, where nothing else that enters the black hole can escape. The event horizon captured in this image is larger than our entire solar system and exists in a galaxy known as M87, which is around 55 million light years away from the Earth. The image was created from observations by the Event Horizon team, which is an array of 8 radio telescopes spread across Hawaii, Arizona, Mexico, Chile, Spain, and the South Pole. The telescopes are designed to make their observations of a black hole more accurate. If we can prove that black holes exist, it is only a matter of time before we can prove that there is sentient life on other planets.
Making the switch to electric vehicles could improve air quality and lower the level of carbon emissions. A study from Northwestern University compared the effects on air pollution from electric vehicles and internal combustion powered vehicles as well. The researchers found that even when an electric vehicle was charged from combustion sources, it still had a positive effect on the air. To come to this conclusion, the team used models and algorithms developed to track the change in ozone and particulate matter, 2 main components of smog and air pollution. To account for the complexity of the atmosphere, they added variables for electric vehicle transition rates, geography, and the generation of electric power supply. Ozone saw a decrease across summer months. The winter saw a slight increase, but at levels still lower than summer. The team also found that no matter where the power came from for electric cars, it was still better for the air. Particulate matter decreased in the winter, but saw greater variation based on geography. Places with more coal power had more particulate haze in the summer, while places with mostly clean energies saw massive reductions in haze. With these results, the team hopes to help the Midwest transition from coal to clean energy, and the Northeast and Northwest make the switch to electric vehicles.
Yellowstone National Park has a new thermal area that scientists think has been growing for the last 20 years. The new area is deep in the Yellowstone backcountry between West Turn Lake and the previously mapped Term Lake thermal area. A thermal area is the visible result of the Earth's surface of magma activity underground. They can include geysers like Yellowstone's own Old Faithful, hot springs, and fumaroles, which are vents that allow volcanic gases to escape. They are surrounded by hydrothermal mineral deposits, geothermal gas emissions, heated ground, and lack of vegetation. Yellowstone has about 10,000 thermal areas concentrated into 120 distinct areas. The new thermal area is about half a mile from the nearest trail and about 11 miles from the nearest trailhead. Any geological changes at Yellowstone tend to make people nervous since the park sits atop an underground supervolcano that is 44 miles across and last erupted more than 630,000 years ago. However, the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory says there is nothing to worry about.
Welcome back to the show. We now go to a feature from Simon Wackles about snowstorms in early spring.
With daffodils blooming, tulips sprouting, and birds chirping, you might think that winter is over and spring is here to stay. That's not always the case, however, as major snowstorms have often plagued the Northeast well into February and March. Some of the Northeast's largest snowstorms have occurred in the latter half of winter. With cold weather still prevalent inland and warm waters off the Atlantic coast, the Northeast is situated in an ideal location for late-season snowstorms. In fact, here in central Pennsylvania, State College's 3 largest snowstorms all occurred in March. Most recently, February and March 2015 were particularly harsh, with winter storms causing an estimated $85 million in damages across the United States. Even after a snowstorm departs, be sure you're taking extra caution while traveling and removing snow, as icy conditions can make for treacherous travel, and heavy wet snow can cause heart attacks if you overexert yourself while shoveling. There is a silver lining to these late-season storms, however. With the spring equinox occurring in the latter half of March, higher sun angles and higher average temperatures mean that any snow that does fall often melts off much quicker than it does in January. Unfortunately, early season warmth doesn't always indicate an end to winter weather. March is a transition month, with winter trying to maintain its grasp and spring eager to move in, so the weather often doesn't stay the same for long. Even though you may be tempted to break out the shorts and flip-flops one day, keep your hats and gloves handy because wintry weather can be a mere cold front away. So although March often signifies the return of warm weather and start of spring, winter usually doesn't like to leave us without a fight. For Up in the Air, I'm Simon Wackles.
Welcome back to the show. So Joe, we had our very first thunderstorm of the season last Friday, but that cleared out very nicely into Saturday, where it was beautiful for blue and white game. The sun was shining, the birds were singing. It was a great day for Penn State football.
Yeah, it really was. It was so nice to see the sun and those really high temperatures come in too, but that wasn't around for long. As Sunday we had that shower come in, and then into Sunday night and Monday morning we had that really intense thunderstorm come in, and that cold front came and cooled things off down into the 40s for the rest of the week. But now we'll head over to Kasey at the climate wall to see if that...
Joe, I'll give you more of the details as far as temperatures go in the temperature outlook forecast, but I'm pretty sure everyone had fun this weekend. On Saturday, it was a great day for football, and on Sunday, it was a great day for meteorologists tracking that severe weather. Almanac data for today, April 18th, 62 is the average high with 41 as the average low. This is actually the first week of the year with average temperatures above 60 and above 40 degrees for our normal temperatures. 94 is a record high back in 1976 with 21 as a record low. back in 1926. Temperature outlook for April 22nd through the 28th. Below normal temperatures expected out in the northwest for Washington, northern Oregon, Idaho, Montana, and even stretching into North Dakota. Down in the southwest, Southern California, southern Nevada, Utah, and Arizona should have above normal temperatures next week, and pretty much the eastern half of the country will have a good chance for above normal temperatures next week for the Central Plains, as well as the Ohio River Valley and down in the southeast. And that includes up here in the mid-Atlantic for Pennsylvania, stretching all the way up into New England. Precipitation outlook for next week, April 22nd through the 28th. The outlier is kind of California with below normal precipitation and amounts expected for northern and central California, just kind of wedging its way into Nevada. Otherwise, above normal for most of the country, including the Four Corners region, stretching all the way down into southern Texas. Up in the northern plains as well as the Great Lakes stakes, about 90% chance for above normal precipitation amounts next week. On the other hand, below normal down in the southeast, stretching all the way up the Atlantic seaboard, kind of diagonally slicing Pennsylvania right in half as far as precipitation amounts go. So if you're in northwestern Pennsylvania, you will probably have normal precipitation amounts for next week as opposed to central and southeastern Pennsylvania. Drought monitor, we're still looking at the Four Corners regions. We have abnormally dry conditions all the way up to severe drought located in New Mexico, up in the northwest for Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and even western Montana, abnormally dry conditions. That holds true down in the south along the Gulf of Mexico for central Texas, most of the southeastern states stretching into Georgia, and the northernmost bit of Florida. What's different is we have some abnormally dry conditions for New York as well as to our southeast over in West Virginia. This snow depth chart, I'm ready for it to go away. I'm tired of there being snow. So the Sierra Nevadas still have some snow depth recorded out in California. In the northwest as well as the northern Rockies still dealing with some snow, and we had a system move through the Great Lakes states earlier this week, so that's why Chicago as well as northern Illinois and Michigan are still dealing with some snow depth right now, as well as northwestern Pennsylvania. We had a few spotty snow showers earlier this week. Time for the weekend forecast, my last one. This is my last show. So 60 degrees this weekend for about an average. We may get a little bit above 60 degrees on Saturday, but we have a system that will move through Friday, bringing some severe weather, not severe weather, but we may have some thunderstorms not ruled out on Friday, left with some spotty showers for Saturday, lingering into Sunday, Ryan and Joe. So you may want to have the umbrellas handy with you this weekend, that's for sure.
All right, thanks, Kasey. That forecast looks pretty nice with those temperatures coming in, and the clouds are a little bit of a downer, but we'll take the warmer weather as it is.
Yes, Joe, and I will love that warmer weather, but it is sad that we've got that showers coming in this weekend. And what else is sad is it's also my last show as well. I am graduating in May. Kasey won't be graduating, but she'll still be leaving us. So it's just going to be Joe next semester. But thank you so much for being with us all these past weeks at Up in the Air.